Peace.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me or am I like muffly? I have my microphone connected, but it's kind of sitting next to me. Do I need to bring it closer?
Give me 1 second now. Let me do.
Maybe I should though, because it sounds kind of muffly in my headphones.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Oh, it sounds way better.
You feel me?
Yeah, it sounds way better.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience. It's been a long day, okay? You
It's all
know,
right.
when you having a long day and it be like little
Mm-hmm.
shit happening and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, why aren't you aligning? Yeah, that just
Mm-hmm.
happened, but I knew everything was gonna be okay. But
Okay.
how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm good. Um, yeah, I don't have I really don't have anything to really complain about. I'm good. Things are going well. So yeah, just happy to be here. Grateful for the opportunity. So yeah, what is it? What is it? How are you feeling? What's going on?
Welcome. Excuse the wind. I
It's all
hope
right.
this is okay with you, but let's just bask that this is wind therapy, but y'all can
Mm,
hear me, okay? I'm blessed and highly favored nonetheless. I'm feeling good nonetheless. You feel me?
mm-hmm.
I'm grateful for the opportunity. I really appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
You already know I love your content. Welcome to the Let Me Nourish You podcast, the
Mm-hmm.
intentional, affirmative, accountable healing community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that.
All right. So, can you just introduce yourself and then I'll get into the questions so my community can get to know more about you, your
Absolutely.
brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my name is Kizzle. I am the founder of Express Yourself Black Man. And Express Yourself Black Man is really a healing community focused and centered around Black men. And so what I do is I lead with vulnerability. And what I mean by leading with vulnerability is I talk about things that we don't normally talk about as Black men and as Black people in general. And I try to offer solutions. So I call it solution-based thinking. I offer solutions that work. If they don't for other people, then that's fine. And we have a conversation about that. So that's the gist of what I do. There's a lot more that goes into it. We have a podcast. We have an exclusive community, a private healing community called Safe Haven that we just launched. And Safe Haven is basically the Instagram and the social media healing community on steroids. So everything is like searchable. There's daily polls, there's weekly affirmations, weekly challenges. Everything has a topic. There's groups like credit group, sports group. We also had low cost therapy in there for some of the members. That's now closed, but there is a wait list for that. And we also have a free medical concierge service as a result of another partnership that we've created with organization. So that medical concierge service books doctors' appointments on behalf of members. It finds Black doctors in the area and books doctor's appointments at their request. So we have a lot of different things that are going on, and we're only going to continue to add more things. We also have 2 free webinars that we're doing, June 18th and June 25th. Both of those are Saturday at 6 p.m. The first one on the 18th is on healing father wounds. That's the day before Father's Day, so I just felt like it was appropriate. And then the second one on the 25th is on how to find a Black therapist. So that in combination with the therapist, that in combination with the podcast, in combination with Safe Haven and the social media community, I feel like what we're trying to do is make sure that the healing is everywhere. There's no way that somebody can say, oh, I couldn't find it or it wasn't good for me, or like, that's not the way that I learn, or, like, I don't have enough time. Like, now we're offering webinars. We got a private community. We got social media. We on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. It's everywhere. Podcasts, we got ebooks, we have merch. So basically anything that anybody may be interested in, we're doing it. And we're doing it with intention and making sure that it has integrity and that we're always leading with value. So yeah, that's the brand, that's the community, that's the platform. And I appreciate you having me here. I can't wait to get into the discussion.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And
Mm-hmm.
thank you for everything you're doing for the community and for the men. I definitely share your page with a lot of men.
Mm-hmm.
So the open and willing ones, they be fucking with you. So
Yeah, I
we
appreciate
appreciate
that.
you.
Yes, I appreciate
Um,
it.
so when we had our consultation, of course I had something in mind to talk about, but that was like
Mm-hmm.
months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
You not want to talk about that anymore? I don't remember what it was, to be honest.
I was going through some stuff, so I think like it was pertaining to that. There is something
Was it
I'm
like
going
relationship and like breakup stuff or something else?
things like that, like
Mm-hmm.
basically like insecurities and thing in relationships. But I've
Mm-hmm.
had some new experiences since then, so I
Mm-hmm.
might talk about your opinion on that. But I do have
Okay.
some questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So can so one thing when I introduce people to your page or to your
Mm-hmm.
platform, I'm like, yeah, so this young man named Kizzle, you know, he always
Mm-hmm.
talks about how he got cheated on, and that's kind of how he started
Mm-hmm.
his brand.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always think that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did have our consultation, I was actually dating someone who got cheated on by both of his exes. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was like really hard. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm in a situation where, because of my past, I have like, you can say sabotage, but I also take accountability and I communicate effectively. So it's
Okay.
like I'm aware. Yeah. So I just want you to share what your process was inwardly and outwardly when you found out you got cheated on.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I talk about it on the page here and there. Anybody that's been following for a while knows. So when I first got cheated on, the first emotion and feeling was shock. That was the first thing. She told me, and I'm thinking to myself, like, wait a minute, that means I got cheated on. Then I asked, like, so wait, you cheated on me? Just to confirm, like I wasn't going crazy. So that it was really shock. Even though I knew that what was being what I was hearing was me um was her telling me that she cheated. I still asked her because I was shocked, right? So first thing is shock, and then after that came anger. Very, very, very. Right after the shock came anger. Like maybe like a couple minutes after that, hung up the phone, tossed my phone in my apartment, dented one of my walls, um, and then anger lasted for like a week. Anger lasted for a week. So anger to the point where I was like, yo, if I saw her, I'd beat her up. Right. This is not something I'm ever proud of. I just say it this way so that people know the reality of it. Right. I don't want people to be thinking that they're feeling a certain feeling and they shouldn't feel it. Right. I'll never condone violence. Right. Because I didn't act on it, but I did think it and I did feel that. Right. And so I want people to understand the reality of what comes with that process, right? And I've never been like a super violent person, you know, like even when I have disagreements and stuff with people, I never go to anger and wanting to beat people up, right? Like, but that's what I was feeling in that moment. So I understand and I can relate to when people go through trauma, specifically betrayal trauma, because that's what we're talking about, getting cheated on, experiencing that anger. And a lot of people sit in that anger for a long time, right? So for me, it was a week. Sometimes for people, it could be months, right? Sometimes for people, it can be years, right? Some people, everybody's grieving process, right? Or like process for dealing with trauma is different. For me, it was a week. And then I got to the point where I got to like accepting what had happened, right? So we're going through the stages, right? Like first thing is shock, anger, acceptance, right? Um, and when I finally got to the point where I started accepting what happened, I had a stage of like still like kind of going through like rotating through like accepting and anger, accepting and anger, accepting and anger, right? So like I'm getting to the point where I'm accepting it, but I'm still angry. I can't believe she would do this. Like I'm still angry, right? Not to the point where I want to beat her up, but just still angry, right? Like can't believe she would do this. Can't believe she would do this. Can't believe she would do this. I was such a good boyfriend. I felt like I did everything that I was supposed to do. I was trying to make sure I took care of everything. And then you go and cheat on me. Right. So that was where I was at. And a lot of people get stuck in that stage too. And then they believe that everybody's gonna cheat. And that's where I got. I'm like, all right, you know what? I accept that this happened. Now this means that all women are gonna cheat on me. So that's where I went. I went from accepting to the extreme thought process that all women are like this. And this stage where what I'm talking about right here, where I got to the point where I thought all women are like this is where a lot of men stay after they get cheated on. They stay right in the stage where they feel like all women are going to cheat on them. And then that's when you see men on social media arguing and all these different things, swearing up and down that all women are evil, or that women are all going to cheat. And you see the same thing with women sometimes too, where they think all men cheat, right? And that's not true, right? Like there's a lot of men that are faithful that don't believe in cheating, that don't believe that just because they're a man that they can't control their sexual desires. That's a lack of sexual discipline, right? And I think in our culture, we try to normalize a lack of sexual discipline because that's what mainstream has made cool, which is like cheating on your partner as a man. Like as soon as you have money and status, it's cool to cheat. And I don't agree with that at all. So yeah, like I was saying, a lot of people get stuck in the thought process of everybody's gonna cheat on me because I've been cheated on. And once I got to that point, I kind of got to the end of myself, and I knew that I needed to receive healing. And that's the way that I'll call it. That's what I really call it. I started diving into a lot of like what people will call red pill content, and that didn't really sit well with me. And I was consuming it. I'm consuming it for like a couple of weeks. I was just like, bro, this ain't you. Like, this is not you. You don't want to be this kind of guy. Like, you don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, maneuvering around and playing all these games with women. And like, nah, bro, that's not, you're not interested in that, bro. And since when did you have to take advice on how to deal with women from these dudes on the internet? Like, that's how I felt, right? Even though I give advice on how to approach relationships and stuff, like, I've never been the guy that's like, I need this person to tell me what it is that I need to do with the woman that I interact with. Like, I give advice because I feel like it's helpful, right? I feel like a lot of people are seeking like answers for everything that they should be doing in relationships rather than just going out and having conversations with women, because that's really what I'd be doing. It's just talking to women in a platonic way and not trying to get something. It's just talking to a woman in a platonic way and just understand, like conversation that we having right now. Like, I don't want anything from you. I just want to have a conversation and just understand and just gain more knowledge, right? And so I feel like a lot of times we don't do that. But I digress. So basically, I got to the point where I knew that I needed to receive, and then that's when I got into therapy. And I found my therapist, and it was a Black woman. She's a Black woman, and still to this day, that's my therapist. And we started having conversations about all the different things that I believed, and I started telling her, like, I feel like all women gonna cheat on me. I feel like all women are evil, right? And she was like, well, you want to get in a relationship with a woman again, right? And I was like, yeah. She's like, so how does that mindset, how is that gonna serve you in your new relationship once you get into a relationship? And I started realizing, like, yo, how the hell am I gonna be in a relationship with another woman if I think all women are evil? Like, what? That don't make sense. And a lot of us subconsciously have these beliefs, and consciously we want to be in relationships. And so we're making conscious decisions to get in relationships with these subconscious beliefs that are forcing us to be in these like unhealthy patterns, right? And then we argue and we fight, and then that only confirms more what our subconscious belief is, which is all women are evil. But really what it is, you didn't address that trauma, and now that trauma is playing out in your relationship, and you're literally in a pattern, right? Like your subconscious, you're not aware of what your subconscious is, what your subconscious beliefs are. And you feel like you're acting out on your conscious, but you're really not. Like a lot of it is like a lot of subconscious programming that we need to unlearn. So that's the long form of what I did to heal. I don't know if I really covered inward and outward, but that was my process.
No, you for sure did. You actually answered
Mm-hmm.
some other questions I had.
Mm-hmm. What were they?
You really inspire me. Like you I have a lot of male friends, but I have
Mm-hmm.
like this one male friend. He's actually my co-host now, and these
Mm-hmm.
are how our conversations go.
I think
But
I saw him. I don't remember his name. I went on your page, but I can't remember what his name was.
yeah, his name is Johnny.
John. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, oh, and he fucks with your stuff too. Like we be having a lot of deep conversations. So like,
Mm.
yeah, you
That's
help a
love.
lot of beings.
That's love. I appreciate that.
One of the questions that you answered was how do you navigate when it comes to being naturally attracted to women? And then I put, for me, I'm not tempted or curious of a man anymore. I truly just love connecting to heal and create, but I don't even think about romanticizing or sexualizing anyone.
So here's the
Um,
thing, right? Yeah, no, go ahead. Continue. I cut you off.
uh,
Yeah.
no, I just wanted to side note, like I used to, and I was aware, but it was still something I was growing out of. Like, why do I feel like I'm trying to romanticize this? Or why do I feel like this person is the one? But it's only because I would speak to outside of physical attraction. I'm really like a mental stimulating type of being, but it's just because, of course, like all my issues and trauma, yada yada. We're not going to get into that, but because I felt understood in certain conversations, and I never really felt understood by a man. So anytime I would feel seen or heard or understood, or just
That
anything that
stimulates
I
something
didn't
for you.
receive, you feel
Yeah.
me? But then I
Yeah.
transmuted it to just identifying and adding it to what I, desire my divine masculine to be, and just giving myself space and grace and patience to allow myself to transmute that energy, because I knew what the end goal was with it. I knew I wasn't trying to stay stuck in that place. Like, I don't like romanticizing these niggas. Like, you feel me? But yeah, but you answered that. But can you say what you were about to say?
Yeah. So I was gonna say, for a lot of guys, it can be hard to separate attraction from women and just like see y'all as human beings. Like, because for a lot of us, right, like we struggle with like a lot. We want to connect, right? We want to connect, and then sex is like sex and attraction is a very big, like, I want to say pull. Um, I'm trying to find the right word. It's a very big pull, but it's also something that like we're always like thinking of. I feel like as men, like we're always thinking about being in a relationship and how good this person looks and like who we're attracted to and what we want to do and all these different things, right? These are thoughts that are consistently in our head, right? But that's when it comes down to how sexually disciplined are you, right? And that's why I always talk about like I don't agree with the thought process that as a man you can't control your sexual desires. Like you can't. Is it easy? Hell no, it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like it's a 2-second process. It's not. You got to practice it, right? Like it's something that you practice. But the reason why you practice it is so that that doesn't control how you act in the world, right? Like if I'm not sexually disciplined, then I'm gonna be out here cheating on my shorty, without a doubt. With all the access to women that I have as a man, especially with a platform, I would be out here cheating. It's just that simple, right? Like, and even if I was single, right, I don't want to use my platform in that way where I'm out here just any woman that I feel like I'm interested in, I'm DMing, doing all this other extra stuff. Like that to me doesn't carry a certain level of integrity. That's not how I want to live my life. That's not part of my value system. Right. And so once I realized that, I was like, you know what? All right. I mean, it may be difficult to be sexually disciplined, but I'm gonna do it because I don't want to do what the opposite of that is, right? Like I don't want to partake in what it means to not be sexually disciplined, right? Like I don't want to build up this platform and then have people thinking that I'm out here using my platform to engage in sexual activity with people that are members of my community. Like that just never sat right with me, right? And even before that, like before I even had the platform, it was about being sexually disciplined because I don't want to be out here just having sex with a bunch of different people. That's a bunch of energy that's exchanging, right? And I believe in that. And it just takes a lot, you know what I'm saying, to get to a point where you're having sex with somebody, right? Like, and you're engaging and you're doing all these different things. And so I think sexual discipline is very, very, very important, especially for us as men. And I think once we learn to master that skill, like we're unstoppable. A man that can control himself, that really knows how to control himself, is unstoppable. Nothing that there's nothing that can move him unless he wants to be moved. And that is a very powerful thing to be in control of. Seriously, it is a very powerful thing to be in control of. Is your own self. And a lot of us lack that level of control, and we give in to what society says about men, which is that we don't have control over our sexual desires, and anything that's thrown at us, we're gonna go and get, or we're gonna be attracted to, because like society tries to paint it out as like we're dogs, right? And like we have no we have no control over these things, but we really do, and we don't practice the skills enough. We don't have enough men that openly speak about these things, and so there's a lot of people, a lot of men, a lot of young men, a lot of boys that think, oh, okay, this is just what it is. I'm just gonna have a bunch of sex, and I'm just gonna have a whole phase, and I'm gonna do all these different things, and that's what it's gonna be. It's like, I don't really know. I don't really know if that's the route. But yeah, that's my thought process on like sexual discipline when it comes to men. I think we just need to practice the skill more, and we don't.
Beautiful answer as always. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
I appreciate it.
Okay, you already talked. You actually went through some things already that I already had. Let me see. Okay, so I have my stopwatch on. Okay, I'm about to see where we at. Okay, we about to be at 23 minutes. Okay, so okay, yeah, I'm gonna ask for your advice first. We're gonna have like a little like let me nourish you some advice from Express Yourself, Black man, since you are like the ideal friend of a woman. You feel what I'm saying? So we're gonna do that last, but
okay.
The first question is, what has your transition into a mature, healthier, healing manhood been like for you?
That's a loaded question.
I come with the loaded questions.
That's good. That's good. What is my transition into a more healed version of myself been like? Is that what you're asking? It's been difficult. I never want to romanticize or like, simplify the process for people. The healing process is a difficult one. It's not something that's just you going have a few therapy sessions and be good. Like I still have therapy sessions sometimes where I feel like, oh, I ain't got nothing to talk about. And then I go on a therapy session and then boom, whole session we talking about something. I'm like, God damn, I thought I was good. Like, but therapy has a way of like you get in there and you start speaking about the things that you need to speak about that you didn't even know that you need to speak about. I have sessions like that all the time. Right. And so what I'm trying to say is like, it is a process, right? And you have to commit yourself to the process, and it takes a lot. And some days and some sessions are going to be worse than others. And some weeks you're going to find some things out that you don't even want to deal with. I had my last session. I was telling my therapist, man, sometimes I wish I was ignorant to all of this, because it's hard sometimes, man. Like, and part of the healing process is also understanding that there's nothing that you can do about other people not healing, right? And there's nothing that you can do about other people not living their life in a way that you want them to live life, and not doing things that you want them to do. And so that sometimes can be a little bit difficult as well. So the process for me has been a difficult one, but definitely a necessary one, and one that I would definitely do 10 times over if I needed to, because the man that I am today is a more comprehensive man. That's what Jason Wilson says, right? He calls it comprehensive manhood. You like Jason Wilson?
I love Jason Wilson. Yeah. I'm actually about to buy somebody his book Battle Cry. Have you read it?
Yeah, I read it.
How was it? Tell me your just a quick spill and get back into your answer. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you
had
me excited when you said his name.
Yeah, absolutely. Nah, Jason Wilson, that's my guy. It's definitely a good read. And I feel like it offers a lot of tools and resources for Black men. Not necessarily, it's not only for Black men, right? It's for men in general, but the reason why I always talk about Black men is because the page and the platforms for Black men. So I feel like it offers a lot of tools for us. And one thing that I really like about Jason Wilson as a person, and even in the book, is that he always leads things with scripture. And he's a person that it's not scripture that's meant to like drill in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? It's scripture where you can like receive wisdom from what it is, right? And understand like life lessons, right? Like I was talking to him, like we talk here and there. I was talking to him the other day, man. I was only talking to him for like 20 minutes, but I feel like the guy gave me like 3-4, so like 3-4 different scriptures in that time, and it all like different like life lessons, right? Like life lessons and ways that you conduct yourself as an individual, as a man, and through different things like business and just life situations, life scenarios. Just a very wise dude. He always talks in like riddles and like if you ever really have a conversation with him or just like really sit down with him, he talks in what would I call it? It's like he talks in like definitely like riddles, like parables, like just like quotes, like quotables all the time, right? Like any like every other sentence, you're like, damn, like that's a quote right there. You know, like that could be on, you know what I'm saying? Like that could just be a text quote by itself on a shirt or something. But definitely a dope dude, really dope dude, down to earth dude. Um, love what he's doing. Battle Cry is a great book. Read the whole thing, cover to cover, and it's definitely a tool that I feel like every man should have. So, if you are interested in buying it and you're gonna get it for your friend, or if somebody's interested listening to this, go and get it for themselves. Definitely do it. You will not be disappointed at all.
And I know one day we're gonna have an Express Yourself Black Man book, but I'm gonna shut up. I'm
You
just
said
saying.
we're gonna have an Expressions of Black Man book.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's
I'm
coming.
just
I
saying.
have the
I'm just saying. I feel it. Like I don't even know anything about it, but I feel it, and we need it. Like, what's up?
mm,
Like I'm your brand ambassador. Period.
okay. That's that. Listen, I love that. I was gonna say, we got the ebook out. It's not a physical book, but that ebook is eventually gonna be like its own like series and like books and like guides. And it'll be physical at some point in time, just not right now. So yeah, we definitely gonna have a book out. I forgot what it was that I was speaking about before the Jason Wilson thing. Oh, the healing, how the healing process is.
Yes, I apologize, but thank you for
No,
getting
you
into that.
good.
Let me interrupt.
No, you good. You good. Yeah. So I think just to wrap that up, I would just say like it's gonna be difficult. You're gonna have some times and where you're like, damn, I don't want to do this. I wish I was ignorant to this. Um, but on the other end, you become such a more comprehensive, like I said, man. And it really does change every facet of your life as a business owner, as a brother, as a son, as a boyfriend, as a community leader, you know what I'm saying, as a friend, every facet of my life, um every role and identity that I have to take up as a man, um, therapy has helped me with. And so I don't ever think there's enough money that you can I don't think there's a limit that you can put or there's a monetary value that you can put on healing, right? And we try to do that in society, like 150 a session, 50 a session, whatever the case may be. To me, it's priceless. Like it really is priceless. So invest in your mental health, or like Charlemagne likes to say, your mental wealth, because it really does help you in every other facet of your life. So if you have the income, if you have insurance, whatever the case may be, invest because you will be a better person, and it will unlock so many different doors and opportunities for you just from you being a more healed version of yourself.
Thank you. And that
Hmm.
answer, you answered the next thing I was gonna ask.
What's up? What was
It was
we're
what's
gonna
your
ask?
advice? But it was just what's your advice to the young men and things. But
Nah, yeah, I could give some advice
you just
on top of
answered
that.
it. Oh, okay. Do you? Okay. So what's
Yeah.
your advice for the young men discovering and trying to find their way into the next version of themselves in their
Hmm.
manhood? Yeah.
My advice, definitely go to therapy.
Mhm.
Outside of going to therapy, I always tell everybody to spend some time with themselves. I think as men and just people in general, we don't spend enough time with ourselves, like just by ourselves, reflecting, understanding who we are as individuals, what we want to do, what we've been put on this earth to do. All of those like deep, like introspective questions that you don't really like spend time to ask. You need to do that, especially as a young man. So understanding who you are, your value, what you do, what you want to do, what you're passionate about. Those are things that I always tell guys to like spend some time figuring out as they're young. And if you don't have answers to those things, that means that you need to try things out. When I was younger, I just tried a bunch of stuff out. I tried out graphic design. I tried website design. I tried a bunch of different things, right? And that got me to the point where I was comfortable using those skills. And now with Express Yourself Black Man, I use those skills on a regular, right? Like I use graphic design to build shirts and the merch and the any design that you see on the page, and also the work of my editor for stuff. And now I also use the website design to build the website and all that kind of stuff. So always learning new skills, um, doing self-reflection to understand who you are and what you want to do, and then figuring out a plan where you can get to that, and staying disciplined enough to actually carry it out. So that would be my advice to any guy, any young man, any man. It honestly doesn't matter how old you are. You can always spend time self-reflecting and understanding what you want to do and the impact that you want to have. Because at the end of the day, I feel like as men, we have a legacy. I think every individual has a legacy, but I think we should be spending more time understanding what our legacy is and what the legacy is that we want to leave, especially to our family and the people around us. So that's one thing that I think about heavily. What are people gonna say when I die? Right? Not that I care about like the validation and affirmation of other individuals, but the reason why I ask myself that question is because I want to understand, am I carrying out what it is that I'm supposed to carry out? Right. If I were to die right now, I know exactly what people would say. They'd be like, damn, that dude, he was doing what he's supposed to do, right? Not on some cocky or conceited stuff. But just me understanding that I'm living out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing right now. And even before I had the platform, I was living it out. So anybody that was local and knew me, if I had died, God forbid I had died in 2017, they would have said the same thing, right? Because I got real clear on what it was that I was put on this earth to do, which is help people, be a voice, and try and continue to impact people around me and however I can, positively. So you don't need to have 59K followers to do that. You don't need to have 100 followers to do that. You don't even need to have 10. You just need to understand what it is that you're doing, what it is that you've been put on this earth to do. And that takes some self-reflection. It's not going to come overnight. And it's not going to come if you don't spend time with yourself. So spend time, self-reflect, ask yourself questions, and then figure out a plan and a process to make sure that you're living what it is that you're supposed to be doing and that you're leaving a powerful legacy.
All right. Thank you. We have 7 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't have the upgraded version of Zoom. I'm gonna get there,
It's
y'all.
all good.
Because
It's all good. You should have told me.
these
You should have
conversations.
told me.
No,
Mhm.
you're look. You good.
Mhm.
It's divine timing. But that was beautiful. I forgot what I was about to say. I know what I'm about to ask, but I was about to say something. But anyways, thank you. And okay, so I'm coming to you as my friend. You feel what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
You already know that I'm an aware being. I do shadow work every day, right? I'm just giving you a spill as if you already knew me. Like, you know, I'm like the friend that you might be like, girl, you aware, but you got to still remind me and put me in my place. So then seeing an amazing young man, right? It gets better with each experience, but you know, I've talked to him about my trauma and things like that. So it's the most like open and effective communication type of situation I've been in. And but we just recently, because of my trust issues, we have like ended it. And I mean, I've because I'm aware, it's like I respect it. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's not really a surprise. But something had happened, and I thought he was on the phone with one of his baby mamas, but he was on the phone with his mom. I'm laughing to stop from crying.
Did you black on him?
I did not black on him, but I do get like I shut down. And then because I start doing this reflecting and stuff, and you know, I'm starting to sing like songs because music helps me, but I don't really black out. But I still am maturing into a better way of handling things in that moment when I catch myself. But I definitely like breathe and stuff, but I'm still working on that inward part of me, being able to communicate effectively right then and there if it's something that really means a lot to me. But I don't rush into my process of that transmutation. So I don't regret it or anything, but like I do want him in my life, but I didn't black out, but I've been doing this communication exercise. So it's I felt like let me read it to you.
I see.
Yeah, hold on. I'm about to give you the okay, so it's when I felt, which causes in me, I need, my request is. In my this is not the first time I've done that with him. And I also like have this trigger list that this therapist posted that I use now, so I can easily identify all the triggers like I have. But it's crazy because the other day we were even chilling and I was just telling him, like I was just giving him more spill on my my parental issues and things. And I was just basically one of the things I said was like, nobody wants to deal with this. Like, who wants to deal with this? Like, I'm still working on healing things with, my mom and my dad, and who really wants to deal with this, even if they think they understand. And, he was just kind of like, bro, just chill. Like that's not true. Like, and he's their types of, which he has been like listening and things. But recently when I expressed this stuff to him, because I was tripping because I thought it was like not his mama, he was just like, I know we both got work to do, but I feel like you got a lot more healing. But it's just like, I get it and I agree. And like, I respect you. Like, you don't deserve any of this. You feel what I'm saying? And he knows that's not literally what I'm trying to give him. So like, I'm all for it. Like, bro, if you're not feeling my energy, if this is fucking with you and what you got going on, I respect you even more for like doing that. You feel me? Because I be doing the same shit. And I know that's how you should be. So I'm not going to be offended by that. And I know that I grow from each experience, but like, I'm gonna give him his space, and and I be thinking like, I'm not gonna beg for you to be in my life. I'm gonna give you my space, but should I just leave it there, or should I eventually give it space and then reach out and come? I don't know what to do, because I'm just gonna fall back all the way. But I also express myself. I really do. I'm very expressive. So we have 2 minutes. What is your advice for me?
My advice in 2 minutes would be, what do you feel like you should be doing? Right? Like, which one are you leaning more towards? Because I don't know enough of the situation to be able to give you advice. I don't know enough about him as an individual, and I don't know enough about how things went down and where you guys left it at to be able to say, this is what you should for sure do. It sounds like you want him in your life. So if you do want him in your life, then maybe you should reach out after a certain point in time and just see how things go and just take things real slow and and also work. Cause what I'm hearing is a lot of trust issues. And that's okay, right? Like, that's fine, but you got to be able to work on that.
1 minute, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I know, I see it. Where you don't, yeah, you got to be able to work on that where you don't outwardly make somebody feel like you don't trust them, right? Because I got my problems and stuff too. Everybody got their issues, right? I'm in a relationship and things happen sometimes, and sometimes it's a little bit of a trigger. But I don't let my trigger bleed on my shorty, right? I take my time, I go through my process, and then I ask clarifying questions before I ever do anything, right? So you got to understand, unless the person has told you what it is, or unless you know for sure what it is, you're always making an assumption. Always, right? Like, you're always making an assumption unless you've been there technically, right? So you got to be able to understand that in the situation, you're making an assumption and your assumption may be wrong. There's so many times where I had a assumption, I'm like, this is what it is. And then I get more information, I'm like, damn, I was wrong. Right. So understand that. I know we have less than a minute. But another thing that I would say is, if it's somebody that you feel like that loves you, always assume positive intent. That's what my therapist tells me. That's what my cousin's therapist tells me.
Tell your therapist I said thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, thank you. That was beautiful. I really look